Money is often seen as something purely material, bills, coins, numbers in a bank account. But in truth, money is far more than that. It is a form of energy, like electricity, like light, like sound. It moves, it vibrates, and it responds to the energy around it. People who understand this do not chase money desperately. They align with it harmoniously, because money, like all energy, flows where there is balance, openness, and direction. It is repelled by fear, scarcity, and anxiety. It is drawn to certainty, joy, and faith. If you treat money as a burden, it will become heavy. If you treat money as a friend, it will visit often. If you fear money, it will stay far from you. But if you respect it and welcome it with an open heart, it will come. You don't have to beg for it, hustle for it endlessly, or exhaust yourself in the process. You need to understand its language, and that language is vibration. It is emotional tone. It is intention. The reason money often avoids people is not because they are undeserving or unlucky. It's because they are out of alignment. They worry about not having enough. They speak of lack more than they speak of abundance. They focus on debts rather than the possibilities. Every thought of, I can't afford that, or, there's never enough, or, I'm always broke, is like building a wall between you and the river of prosperity that is trying to reach you. Thoughts like these are like dams. They block the flow. But when you shift your thinking to gratitude, trust and faith in divine provision, you open a path for the money to come. Money flows easily and effortlessly to me. I am always supported. I have more than enough. These are not just pleasant phrases. They are energetic keys. They unlock the doors you've unknowingly closed with years of negative conditioning. And once you open the flow, the current becomes stronger and more consistent. Think of money like sunlight. The sun shines on all, but only those who open their windows receive its warmth. It's not that the sun isn't shining. It's that you haven't made space for it. The same goes for wealth. It's everywhere, and it's flowing constantly. Through ideas, through opportunities, through creativity, through people. But unless you're energetically open to receive, you'll keep missing it. This is why some people seem to attract money, no matter where they go, and others always seem to be struggling. It's not just about work ethic. It's not just about education or circumstances. It's about understanding the frequency of money and tuning into it. When you understand that money is energy, you begin to treat it differently. You respect it, you don't fear it. You use it joyfully and wisely, not impulsively or out of desperation. Even your thoughts have energy. Every time you think, I am abundant, you send out a wave. That wave travels into the unseen, into the universal substance, and it returns to you in form. But if your thoughts are, I never have enough, or nothing ever works out for me, those two send out waves. And those waves attract the very circumstances that prove them true. The universe is not punishing or rewarding. It is responding to your vibration. You have the power to change that vibration today. Begin to affirm, with quiet confidence, that money is your friend, that it moves toward you easily, that it supports you in living your purpose, that it is a tool for good in your hands, and most importantly, believe that you are worthy of receiving it. You were not born to scrape and struggle. You were born to thrive. And money, being energy, responds to those who know this truth and live by it. So remember, when it comes to money, stop chasing and start aligning. Stop fearing and start trusting. The energy you send out is always the energy you get back. Money doesn't follow logic. It follows flow. And flow only exists where there is peace, belief, and understanding. You don't need to force it. You need to feel it. Speak its language. Treat it well. And most of all, trust that it's already coming to you. Because money flows to those who understand this. Wealth is not something you stumble upon. It is not something that just happens to lucky people while others are left behind. True wealth, lasting wealth, begins with your mindset. It begins with the thoughts you think when you wake up, the beliefs you carry throughout your day, and the expectations you hold deep within yourself. Before it ever appears in your bank account or shows up in material form, abundance starts as a seed inside your mind. And that seed grows depending on how you think, how you feel, and how you act. Most people are taught from a young age that money is hard to get, that there's never enough, or that it's somehow wrong to want too much. These beliefs take root, and unless they are challenged, they quietly rule over a person's entire financial life. Someone may work hard, be intelligent, have talent, but if they carry limiting beliefs about money, they will unknowingly block it from flowing freely into their lives. This is why mindset is everything. A person with a wealthy mindset doesn't see limitations. They see opportunities. They don't look at the closed door, they look for the open window. They don't dwell on what they don't have. They celebrate what they do, knowing that more is always on the way. This isn't wishful thinking. It's a powerful inner posture that changes how they show up in the world. When you believe that you are abundant, you speak differently, you walk differently, you attract differently. The wealthy mindset doesn't say, "I can't afford that." It says, "How can I create the resources for that?" It doesn't say, "I'm not lucky like others." It says, "I am aligned with the infinite supply of the universe." This way of thinking shifts your energy entirely, and money responds to energy far more than effort. That doesn't mean you don't take action. It means your action becomes guided, purposeful, inspired. It means your thoughts become like magnets, drawing in the resources you need to fulfill your goals. So many people chase money with an inner belief that they are lacking. They think if they just work more, do more, or try harder, they'll finally feel secure. But they're building on a foundation of fear. And anything built on fear eventually collapses. Wealth built on scarcity is temporary, but wealth built on abundance, on a mindset rooted in trust, gratitude, and purpose, that kind of wealth endures and multiplies. Your subconscious mind is always listening. It hears what you say to yourself when no one is around. It records every time you say, "I'll never make enough," or "I'm just not good with money." These statements become blueprints. Your outer world then reflects those inner instructions. But the good news is, you can rewrite them. You can plant new seeds. You can train your mind to think wealth, speak wealth, expect wealth. Begin by noticing the words you use when you talk about money. Do they uplift or do they diminish? Do they come from confidence or from worry? Catch the small, hidden phrases like, "Money doesn't grow on trees," or "I always struggle with bills." Replace them with truth, real truth. Say instead, "Money is constantly flowing to me in unexpected and delightful ways." Say, "I am a magnet for prosperity. I am supported always." These statements rewire your mind. They awaken new possibilities. They tell your subconscious to look for ways to fulfill them. And it does. Also, surround yourself with abundance. Not just in money, but in spirit. Be generous with your kindness. Celebrate others' success. Practice gratitude for every small gain. When you do this, you are telling the universe, "I trust you. I know there's more where that came from." And that trust opens the floodgates. You don't have to change your whole life overnight. You only need to change the lens through which you view it. Start seeing yourself as someone who is already wealthy. In ideas, in creativity, in potential. That inner wealth is the soil from which all outer wealth grows. You are not separate from abundance. You are part of it. You were made for it. And when your mindset aligns with that truth, the world around you cannot help but reflect it. So remember, mindset first, money second. Believe in abundance, and abundance will believe in you. Let your thoughts be rich, let your spirit be open, and let your words be declarations of truth. Because when your mind becomes a home for wealth, money has no choice but to show up and stay. Words carry power, not just the power to communicate, but the power to shape reality. Every word you speak, every phrase you repeat, sends out a signal into the invisible world, and that signal returns to you in the form of circumstances, people, and results. Affirmations, then, are not empty statements or feel-good slogans. They are creative tools, spiritual laws in motion. What you consistently affirm, you eventually live. If your words are full of fear, scarcity, and struggle, then your life will reflect just that. But if your words are full of truth, abundance, and expectation, your life will mirror that instead. Think of your mind like a garden. Your affirmations are the seeds. You do not plant weeds and expect roses. In the same way, you cannot affirm limitation and expect expansion. You cannot talk constantly about not having enough and still expect money to arrive. Your words must align with what you desire, not with what you fear. And this takes discipline. It takes awareness. But once you learn how to direct your speech, you begin to direct your life. Start with the simple affirmations, spoken daily and sincerely. Money flows to me easily and frequently. I am divinely supported. I live in a world of unlimited abundance. At first, you may not feel that they are true, especially if your outer world doesn't yet reflect them. But truth is not based on current appearances. It is based on spiritual law. The more you affirm what you want with confidence and consistency, the more your subconscious begins to believe it. And once your subconscious believes, it will guide you to behave, think, and attract in harmony with that belief. Many people sabotage themselves with casual, careless speech. They say things like, "I'm always broke," or "I can't get ahead," or "money disappears as fast as it comes." These statements are like commands. Your subconscious, ever obedient, begins to fulfill them as instructions. It filters your perception. It brings situations and habits that confirm what you keep repeating. This is not punishment. It is programming. And you are the programmer. You can change the script. Let your words rise to the level of the life you desire. Even if it feels strange at first, speak abundance, speak success, speak peace. Say things like, I am open to receiving unexpected income. Everywhere I go, prosperity meets me. I attract only wealth-enhancing opportunities. Speak these not with desperation but with calm assurance, as though they are already true, because in the realm of spirit they are. Your spoken word has creative authority. When spoken with faith and emotion, it becomes a decree. And the universe responds. You are not begging for change, you are declaring alignment with truth. And that declaration has the power to move circumstances, shift timelines, and invite divine favor. This is why ancient wisdom traditions emphasize the word, because the word is the bridge between the inner and outer world. Also, remember that it's not enough to say a few positive things once and hope for transformation. Just like you wouldn't plant a seed and expect a full tree overnight, affirmations require nurturing, repetition, intention, emotional engagement. They are most powerful when they become your default language, the background music of your mind. Let them play when you wake, while you work, as you walk, before you sleep. Eventually your inner dialogue changes. The chatter of doubt is replaced with the clarity of truth. You begin to think in abundance even without trying. And once your inner world is saturated with these high vibration thoughts, your outer world has no choice but to comply. It must. The law is precise. The world you live in is always shaped first by the world you speak into existence. Affirmations are not magic spells, but they do create results that feel magical. Why? Because they activate the deepest part of you. The part that is connected to divine intelligence, the infinite source. And when that part of you speaks, doors open. Paths appear, money comes, help arrives. The shift feels subtle at first, but it gains momentum. So be mindful of your words. Speak only what you desire. Reject language that drags you back into fear. When others complain, choose to bless. When others curse their finances, choose to praise your growing wealth. Your words set you apart. They become the compass that leads you to the abundance already prepared for you. Let every affirmation you speak be filled with power, purpose, and faith. Because in the end, you do not get what you want. You get what you believe, and what you believe is revealed through the words you speak, over and over again. Speak abundance, and abundance must come. Speak truth, and truth must show itself. Because the spoken word, guided by faith, is always fulfilled. There is a truth that sets people free the moment they fully accept it. You are already connected to an infinite supply. It does not come from a paycheck. It does not depend on the government, the stock market, or the approval of others. Your source is not the economy. Your source is divine, ever-flowing, unfailing, constant. And the moment you realize this, lack begins to disappear, not just from your pockets, but from your mind. You stop placing your faith in outer things and begin drawing from the well that never runs dry. So many live in quiet panic, fearing the day the money runs out or the opportunity slips away. They look to their job as the only stream through which good can come. They rely on a single client, a single sale, a single investment, and when it falls through, they spiral into despair. Why? Because they believe their source is limited. They have forgotten that their true supply does not dry up, cannot crash and never delays. It is like a mighty river, flowing constantly through ideas, people, and doors not yet opened. Your only job is to tap into it with belief. You were not created to live a life of scraping by. You were created to live in overflow. But this overflow does not begin in your wallet. It begins in your awareness. When you believe you are supported by something greater, something infinite and intelligent, you stop chasing and start receiving. You start trusting. You stop begging and start expecting. And money, like any other energy, flows best through those who trust the process. Imagine you're standing in a field of dry earth, thirsty and desperate. Someone hands you a shovel and says, dig. But instead of digging, you cry about the drought. You talk about how hard life is. You complain about the sun and the wind. Meanwhile, the well is only a few feet below. If only you would trust and act. That is how most people live. Disconnected from the supply that lies just beneath their current situation. But those who understand how life truly works, they dig with faith. They move with certainty. They declare, my supply is here, and it is coming to me now. There are so many ways money can reach you. An idea that turns into income, a conversation that leads to a connection, a gift you didn't expect, a refund you never imagined, a new skill that unlocks a new stream. When you know your source is infinite, you stop obsessing over how it will happen. You release the how and focus on the truth. that it is already done in the spiritual realm, and you are just catching up to it. Even in moments where things seem slow, dry, or unclear, you stay anchored in the knowing that your good is still coming. Delays are not denials. Detours are not defeats. They are simply preparations. The infinite source is never late. Sometimes your heart must grow before your hand can receive. But the flow has not stopped. You are still connected. This truth gives you peace in chaos. While others panic, you praise. While others tighten in fear, you open in gratitude. Because you are not relying on man-made systems. You are plugged into the divine economy. One that is never in recession. One that responds not to outer events but to inner belief. And when your belief becomes firm, your supply becomes steady. You do not need to figure everything out. You simply need to trust that what you need is already making its way to you. And in the meantime, keep moving, keep affirming, keep acting from a place of faith. The more you trust in your divine connection, the more you will see proof of it. You'll begin to notice unexpected blessings, doors you didn't knock on swinging open, and money flowing in from places you never thought to look. This is how the universe works. When you believe in the unseen supply, the seen world reshapes itself to reflect it. But it starts with letting go of the illusion that you're alone. You are not alone. You are not abandoned. You are not unsupported. Even in your lowest moment, you were still connected. Your supply was waiting for your recognition. And the moment you remembered the truth, it began moving again. So hold fast to this truth, not just when things are good, but especially when they are uncertain. Your source is infinite. Your stream is endless. And the more you believe that, the more you'll experience it. Because nothing in your life changes until your awareness does. Once you truly know your supply is divine, you'll never worry about money again. You'll know it's always coming, always flowing, always enough. There is a quiet but powerful law at work in the universe. Whatever you give out returns to you multiplied. This law is not confined to money, but it includes it. It operates in energy, in kindness, in trust, and yes, in financial exchange. The moment you understand that giving and gratitude are not losses, but invitations to greater abundance, your relationship with money begins to transform. You begin to give without fear and receive without guilt. You begin to walk through life as someone who knows the secret, that flow begins when you release, not when you clutch. Most people hold tightly to what they have, afraid there won't be more. They give with reluctance, or not at all. They hoard out of fear, not wisdom, and then they wonder why their lives feel stuck, why nothing seems to come in. But flow requires movement. Like a river, it must be allowed to circulate. When you give joyfully, you make space for something new. You create a vacuum that the universe rushes to fill. And what returns to you is not just equal, it is often greater, richer, and timed perfectly. Giving is not about quantity. It's about spirit. A coin given with love opens more doors than a large gift given in fear or obligation. It's not what you give, but the energy behind it. When you give freely, as if you know more is coming, you activate a powerful signal of faith. That signal attracts more of the same. Opportunities, wealth, peace. But when you give from fear or only to get something in return, you block the very flow you are trying to create. There is a deep wisdom in practicing generosity, even, and especially, when you think you have little. It says to the universe, I know I am not limited by what I see. It says, I trust the invisible supply more than I trust my current bank balance. That trust is magnetic. It begins to attract new channels, fresh inspiration, and unexpected blessings. You find yourself on the receiving end of kindness, support, and yes, financial prosperity. Gratitude works hand in hand with giving. It is the recognition of the good you already have, and that recognition multiplies what's to come. You can only receive fully what you're truly thankful for. If you dismiss small blessings, you teach the universe that they are not enough. But when you celebrate even the smallest flow of abundance, a free coffee, a surprise discount, a kind word, you tell the universe, I noticed, I appreciate. Send more, and more comes. Gratitude doesn't just feel good, it shifts your entire vibration. It lifts you out of lack and places you in the frequency of having. You stop looking for what's missing and start noticing what's already present. This shift is powerful. It changes your posture, your words, your actions. It opens your eyes to opportunities you may have missed while focusing on problems. Even in difficult times, you can find something to be grateful for. And when you do, you break the spell of fear. You remind yourself that abundance is not gone. It's simply waiting for your attention. Gratitude turns what you have into enough. And once something feels like enough, it often begins to grow. Giving and gratitude are practices, not one-time acts. They are habits that train your mind to live in abundance. Every time you give without fear, you rewrite a scarcity belief. Every time you give thanks, you deepen your trust. These small acts compound over time, building a new foundation within you. One based on flow, not fear. You might not see the return immediately. It might not come from the place you gave it. But rest assured, it always comes. In ways you don't expect. Through channels you couldn't plan. That's how divine order works. It's not always logical, but it is always faithful. You are never giving into emptiness. You are planting into a field that returns harvests in divine timing. So release the grip. Give what you can. Celebrate what you already have. Know that what flows out must return. And remember, you are not losing when you give. You are proving that you trust the law of increase. And the moment you trust it, it starts working for you. The person who gives joyfully and lives with thanks is the one who always seems to receive more. Not because they are lucky, but because they are aligned. They have opened the channels. They have cleared the fear, and now the abundance flows in and flows out and flows in again. This is how money moves. This is how life responds. And this is why, without fail, money flows to those who understand this.